What up guys, today we are going to break down Push That System, which is a track of mine that came out I think somewhere in March on the Low Ceiling label. That's Don't Blink's label. The support on the track has been insane the last couple of weeks / months, with James Hype also ripping the track globally. I got some clips of him playing the track live, which we are gonna roll in a second. But first I wanted to ask you guys if you want to drop a like, drop a comment, and maybe hit that subscribe button, because it actually helps a ton. And without further ado, let's roll the clips and get into the video. So, James Hype playing this track live has been insane. The reaction on it has been insane. It's like, I can't describe the feeling, but I can only show you guys how I made the track. It's actually pretty simple, I think. It's been a while since I opened this project, so don't be too hard on me if I get lost in my own projects, because I'm not that organized as a producer. But yeah, so we got the track over here. I got the 6 buses in total. So I have my instrumental bus. This is without the vocals. We got our low end. So let's first go over the low end. So let me play it in solo. So this is the intro. The bass is filtered out. I used a couple of kicks, or tried a couple of kicks. This is something I try and do on every track. Check if the kick works. Maybe even reuse a kick I already used. But the kick is the fundamental of your track. So yeah, here's the kick. Not too much on it. Just a bit of the highs that I lowered down. But other than that, just the kick. And here we have our bass. All these channels, man, I really need to clean up my projects whenever I make such a video. But we got our sub bass over here. This is just a pretty basic sub. I got it from Mercurial Tones pack. So yeah, just a classic sub. Playing the keynotes of the tracks. I think that's in C. Yeah, that's in C. My project title even says it. Other than that, we have our mid group, and here we have lots and lots of automation. So first of all, this is a pretty basic preset of Evo sounds. It's in the Genesis Volume 2 pack, but I changed it up a bit and automated a shit ton of parameters, as you can see over here. I also put an amp on it. Let me hear. Just gives that nasty gnarly feeling. Also put a trash on it to just make it sound dirty. We also have some reverb on there, some sidechain. Lots of EQs. I normally keep my EQs, and if I want to EQ again, I put another EQ afterwards. That way I can enable and disable EQs that I liked or disliked, as I want to go with the track. So I have 4 EQs here after each other, and then at the end I have a clipper, just a basic clipper, the BSA one. I like it a lot, although I must say right now I'm using standard clip a lot more than BSA clipper. But yeah, this track was created 2 months ago or 3 months ago, or even longer, I don't know. But yeah, so the reverb, the trash, and the amp really spices up the sound. Makes it sound just like, you know, it's piercing through your ears, and you just gotta put that bass phase on, even though it's not the bass. The sub bass provides the bass, but it's just gnarly, nasty sounding. The parameters I have used to automate are actually quite a lot. So I had these standard 4 mods that our boy Zenworld provides in his packs. So I played around with these a bit, and I also played around with the release of the envelope, or the release envelope, just to get the build-up a bit more hyped and adds more tension. So as you can hear, the release really adds to the dramatic build-up inside this build from the mid bass. Also have a sustain envelope that in the beginning is low at its lowest, and when the build rises it just gives more and more energy. So playing around with all the mods we have, playing around with everything that's in the envelope: attack, decay, sustain, release, and this way making the sound interesting over time and automating it during the track. So that's that for the mid bass. So this one has a bit more processing on it than I usually do, because I really wanted to get these nasty frequencies out with the amp and trash. So this way we got our low end sounding punchy and nasty, and with the reverb it's placed in a room. I also grouped this because I didn't do anything on the group. Let's go. I'm such a messy producer though. But yeah, that's actually it for the low end. The only extra thing I have is in the intro to get the groove a bit going, what the rhythm is playing from the mid bass, but I didn't want to introduce the mid bass at the start, so I just used the tom groove. So that there is a little bit of groove going on there in the extended intro. But other than that, we don't have too much on the low end. We got our kick bus and our bass bus, and the only things we're doing here is automating again, EQing, mostly filtering and EQing and volume automations. It's actually the only things you need to get some life in your track. Automate the shit out of everything. Then also on the kick, automating low end, volume, filters, whatever you name it. And then we got on our low end group some multiband dynamics. If you want to copy the settings, this just makes the low end a bit tighter and a bit more cohesive. Also using the Saturn on there, just on the classic default setting, just put it on there. It just adds a little bit of coloring, not too much. And then also a Sub Ninja on here just for the analytics side of things, so I can see how the basses are rolling with each other visually. Again, I think I mentioned this in a video before. I really like to see how everything is visually looking, as I also am a DJ and I love looking at waveforms. That is also the plugin here at the top, by the way, Millimeters, which is on my master channel. And this has the waveform as well. So moving on to the harmonies. I don't think there's too much in here. I have this plucky rolling type of sound. This is actually to after the first 16 bars of my drop, I wanted something new and refreshing, so it grooves, but with something fresh. Just put a preset on there. I don't know what it is. Also from Evo Sounds. Make the envelope fit your style or sound you want to go for. Also put an amp on there to make the track pretty amped up, so everything is like more cohesive. Like you got the mid bass that's amped, and the pluck on top that's also amped, so it all sounds in the same space. Although you normally do that with reverb, I did it with the amp this project. We also have some a Redux on here, and I don't know what the hell I did here, but let's check it out. So we got an automation going, a lot of automations going, and I think, yeah, okay, so we got the classic normal sound, and then we got this audio effect channel that I turn on after the drop is done. And I don't know what I did, but I experimented a shit ton with the echo and Redux, and it just creates this weird ass, I don't even know how to call it, but it's just like some weird FX that's in the background, automating everything left and right, so it's really lively, the sound. And this really adds to the atmosphere of the track. Probably gonna reuse that in a future project. I didn't even know I used it. And then other than that, nothing special on there that's activated. So we got this sound, and another sound is the intensifier for the pre-drop. So this is just right before the drop. You want to boost up that energy. That's like, oh my god, it's here. So that's what this is for. It's a preset from the Toolroom pack. So can't remember what I actually processed this, but I think it's pretty default. Just turned off the reverb and effects and played around with the filter. And I put the pitch bending on 24, so it's really, as you can see, the automation from the pitch bend is really steep. And at a certain point, I just let it go, or let it stay on 24 to really get that straight in your face feeling. And as you can see, once again, we got our volume automations, we got our filter automations. Like, just do your automations, don't be lazy in them. You gotta do them. If you feel like your drums are too loud, turn them down. If you feel like something's too quiet, turn it up. It's as simple as that. And you can do that with filters, you can do that with volume, you can do that with EQs, you can do that with all sorts of things. So if you want to make space for an element, just do it. And also we got this reversed reverb, I think. Yeah, so I recorded one hit of this plug with a shit ton of reverb on it, and then I just reversed it. So this is the original hit, I think, with the reverb on there. Okay, then I reversed it, put on some Endless Smile, so it really rolls into that second part of the drop. It's like, it rolls into where I left out the kick. So just really rolls into that sound, introducing it with a millisecond before for the listener, so just all glued together. But actually that's it for the harmonies. Not a lot on there as well. On the bus, again, automations for the low end, Endless Smile, EQs, volume. Now onwards to the drums. The drums are actually pretty simple as well, I think, if I remember correctly. So we got our claps, we got our hats, and for the hats we got a pedal hat, we got a groover hat, closed one, I think. We got a splash hat, and we got a shaker, and we got our offbeat as well, layered with two hats. Alright, so let's go from bottom to top. So this is my hat. So we got a more shakery kind of hat, together with a really snappy, clicky hat. These two together, really full and nice sounding. I also have a clipper on this bus, which isn't doing anything. Never mind. But that's really just to catch the peaks. And yeah, I put clippers on every bus, I think. So I even have a clipper now on the hat bus, I think. Yeah, I do. but right now not doing anything as well. It's an old project. Right now, as I said before, I'm using standard clip instead of BSA clipper. But yeah, onwards, we got our shaker. This is just from, I think, the Lotus Tunes shaker. Just a classic shaker. And then I have some variations on the shaker over here in the second part of the drop, where that plug also comes in. Just some random automations to make it more lively and not so static that it's also always the same noise and so. And also a pan man on here, so it's going from left to right a bit. Alright. Other than the shaker, we have our splash hat. This is just to accentuate the groove. Haha. Not much on there as well, just cutting the lows. And we got our groove hat, as I call it, but it's just a closed hat. And we got our pedal hat, which is on the downbeat. Plays together with the kick, makes it a more live kick than a more, I don't know. It's like you add this layer to your kick and it sounds like a more natural live kick instead of just an electronic kick. So pedal hat's something I use in all my tracks, by the way. It just adds to the kick if you play it. If we play it with the kick, that's the break on the drop. And if we deactivate the pedal hat, you know, it just takes away and it sounds more, yeah, it has a more natural human feel to the kick. So that's the hat buzz. Again, probably the clipper ain't doing anything. No, it is. But it can be used as a ceiling, so it's not going above that. It's a safety net, let's just say it, but it ain't doing anything. Onwards to the clap. And it's a pretty hard hitting clap. It's 2 layers, but we got a little splash clap over here as well. So we got a really beefy snare, layered with a very, very piercing clap, and I think I EQ'd it. Yeah, EQ'd it pretty heavily, so it's only like the top energy we're getting from the clap. And this way, the hat as it is, I mean the snare as it is isn't enough, so we layered it up. Now we got the hit. Also adds to the groove. If you play the full drum bass, you'll see what I mean. So it just keeps the loop interesting and doesn't sound too loopy with these splashes in here and there. And also with my automation on the shakers in here. And of course, we cannot forget the rides for the energy booster. It's just a tool room sample, that's it, nothing more. I think I did an automation though on the audio file, if I remember correctly. Ah, yeah. So this pretty much emphasizes that it's the end of the drop, and it's just, yeah, something I added and I felt really helped transitioning from the first drop into the second drop, or the second part of the first drop, not into the break. I was wrong, but then again, I opened this project now and it's been 4 or 5 months since I opened it, so I'm also navigating through together with you guys, so I hope I'm not too messy going over the things. But yeah, so we got our drums, and on the drum bus, this is pretty important though. So again, we got our volume automations and so, but we have a decapitator on here to get that crunch, and it's on 24.5%. We also have a thermal on here. I saw it in one of West End's video on the overhead slam preset. You can play around with the width and the crush, and I think it's only at about 6%. But these two really add to the punch and loudness and power of the drums. Like, this is without them. This is with them. It's just, you need it, man. And then afterwards, very important, we got our BSA clipper. And as you can see here, now it's doing something. It's just the very top peaks that are being cut off, but you won't hear a difference in audio. But you will have a lot less, or you will have more headroom, because the signal is quieter, but the overall loudness is the same. So just search a video on clipping. It's something you have to do if you make dance music. Just do it, just clip it. I don't know the rules and bits of it, but I can only recommend it. I'm using it in all my tracks. So yeah, standard clip is the way to go, which I'm using right now. I think I said this 3 times already. So clipping is very important, people. So that was it for the drums. And if we combine this with our low end, we got ourselves a track, and that's it. No, just kidding. We also have our snare build and our Atmos FX. Let me play these together, because I think that's a cohesive part of the track. So we got our classic string on there. We got some vinyl noise in the background to fill up the white noise gaps in between. It just makes it sound a bit more dirty. We got a riser. No, we got 2 risers. And a snare build. Not too much, actually. It's pretty simple. So yeah, these are just FX. Not too much to say about these. Other than also dare to play with the volume and dare to maybe exaggerate the volume. Like, I think I don't think it's in this track, but sometimes I would automate the volume of a certain FX, and when I'm reaching the end of a build-up, I would really go like plus 8 dBs to really get that intense feeling on the build-ups. But in this track I kept it pretty simple, and I just went with the classic filter, volume, or EQ automations. And we got these reverses, sweeps, and I use these to emphasize or let the listener know we are entering a new part of the track. But other than that, not much actually in this FX bus. And then the snare bus, also not much really. It's just the snare, a bit of custom EQ to get the snare fitting with everything. And yeah, just again, volume and filter automations, and of course Endless Smile. If you ain't using Endless Smile yet, then you haven't seen enough producer memes yet. So that means you will have to go into the studio more often. Okay, but that's it for the instrumental. And why did I separate the instrumental with the vocal? So that is because I want to make space for the vocal on top of the instrumental. So I'm using this plugin called Track Spacer, and the frequency is between 300 and 10,000 get dipped down a little tiny bit when the vocal is playing. So it's basically a dynamic sidechain or dynamic EQ, whatever you want to call it. But in certain spots, like here, as we have a really aggressive and loud and pretty broad on the frequency spectrum mid bass, I wanted the vocal to dip that mid bass, or in this case the full instrumental, to get more space for the vocal, as the vocal is really, without this vocal, this track wouldn't exist, because the Push That system really emphasizes the aggressive kind of sound. So yeah, let's hit it with the vocal and the first build. So this is actually my introduction vocal. So basically it's pretty loopy, but we are intensifying it with, again, automations on the Endless Smile, on the volume automation, the filters, and at the end we got the Party Plan Push That system. The vocal is compressed a bit. We got some fresh air on there as well, just to get out some fresh air. We got a de-esser, just because there were some harsh frequencies. We got a spectral resonator on there, Party Plan Push That system, which really gets that aggressive sound on there. We got a widener on there just to get a bit of stereo happening on the vocal. Got an ozone on there to check how the stereo is on the vocal, so we don't overdo it. We got a small, or rather, small reverb. Party Plan Push That. Just a Pro R2 on the wide air preset and only on 10%. Other than that, again, only EQs, filters, volume automations, as you see here on the bus, and that actually just makes the track. And I can't believe, if I'm looking at it right now, it's actually a pretty simple track, not a lot on there. It's just everything fitted together. The vocal was super aggressive, the mid bass is also aggressive, or wasn't in the beginning, so logically I just made it more aggressive. The drums are also super tight and super, just punching through together with the vocal and with the low end groove and the mid bass. Everything is just super piercing and super in your face, as I could say, and that's what makes this track. Not too much on there, just super aggressive sounds, and sound selection was the key element in this track. But actually, I'm pretty surprised I'm already done. I don't know how many minutes it's been, but it's really not a lot in this track. Maybe I can go over the arrangement side of things. So we got our classic intro of the house tracks, 1632, and then we have our 16 bar break build into our first drop. So the first drop is just the bass and drums, and after the first 8 bars we add a ride, and after that we transition into what I call the bridge, or the second drop from the first drop into the breakdown, because we are taking away some elements, adding a bit of new ones, but mostly breaking down from the groove. After 8 bars again, we are using the filter, adding the snare roll on there, some effects, just to really roll into the break again. And I used a pretty long breakdown and build up for this track. It's like 1632. I even used the 40 bars. That's weird, but it worked. Classic tracks would have 32 bars. Maybe something I forgot of the vocal is this thing here. This is like my background kind of atmosphere fill only during this break. It's just saying push that system over and over again, and it's pretty filtered, so it really fits in the mix where I want it. And here we got a call and response with the main vocal.
Push that system.
It's actually acting as some kind of delay, but it's not a delay because it's literally the sample repeated 3 times. But I'm using this plugin Portal on there and really just automating the shit out of everything again to make it interesting. So the drive and the mix knob is just getting larger or bigger and bigger on the build. We also have some reverb automations on there, and I think the most important thing of this element here is that it needs space for the main vocal, and this is why you see that here I have
Push that system.
made space for the main vocal that really just pierces through again.
Push that system. Push that system.
Here is a small delay I recorded just from the end or the tail of this. Just put a delay on there, resample it, record it, and really adds to the atmosphere again.
Push that system. Push that system.
And we are automating
Push that system.
and automating and automating and building and building.
Push that system.
And here we introduce the snare build.
Push that system.
Now we're building,
Push that system.
really building.
Push that system. 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 Break, break, break. Push that system. Break, break, break. Push that system. Break, break, break. Push that system.
Cutting the vocal here into loops or shorter loops to really get that energy going. So really just is a very basic track, but I've put a lot of thought in the automation process of the track, making sure every element has its own shining moment whenever it's needed. As you can see here, it's the vocal right here, together with getting that climax from the mid bass, but the vocal is still the priority on this, as we put the track spacer on the instrumental. So the vocal is the most important element in this track and the build, and then of course just the kick and bass, you know. Like, it's that simple. Like, I can't believe it. Maybe I'm going over it too fast or too chaotic, but it's really that simple. If you have a nice idea, just map it out and start doing something, not listening to the same loop over and over again. Maybe start jumping in the unknown and try out things. Like over here, for example, I don't think I can even remake what I did here in another project. Thank God you can copy paste your projects channels. Let me show that if you didn't know that. For example, we got our track Piadosa, we got the project file. If you just want the instrumental bus, you can just drag it in there, and all automations and stuff are still present. So yeah, but I wouldn't be able to remake this because I tried out so many weird ass things in the creative process that it just vibed, and it's just a pretty creative session. Just mapping it out, make sure you get the feeling when you're building your track or making that automation to the drop. Just feel it out, how long you want it to be. Like, for example, I had 40 here, which is Not something I do regularly, but it just worked. But yeah, pretty simple track. Just a very strong vocal, very strong bass, and that's actually the fundamentals of the track. Adding some punchy drums on there and a little tiny bit of atmosphere and FX. And there you go. You cooked up yourself a banger that James Hype might play. And for those of you wondering what's on my master chain, absolutely nothing. Only the God Particle, and that's it. Been experimenting with the God Particle pretty recently, although I must say I'm not using it that often anymore. This track only has a God Particle on there, and it's getting played by the biggest DJs in the scene, so that once again proves you don't need super expensive studio gear, super expensive mastering engineer, and so on. So moral of the story is just trust your ears, make sure it sounds powerful, and use the tools needed to see if it sounds powerful enough. For example, I got the Uline loudest meter. To check my loves, I got my Voxengo span. To check the frequency spectrum and lay it side by side with other tracks, referencing how their balance of frequencies are. Using the millimeters, as you can see here up top. Is the waveform clean? Is it tight? Is it punchy? Does it look good on a CDJ? You know, just everything that can help you analyze whether or not your track is playable. But yeah, referencing tracks can also help in that matter. But other than that, I don't have a lot more to say about this track. It came and go. Really fast production also on this one. If the inspiration kicks in and the creativity is there, just roll with it and trust your gut feeling. But yeah, I'll leave a link to a free download down below, so you can get the track to maybe play in your set as well. Or if you want to support it, I will also leave a Beatport link down below to buy and support the climb of the track. I think we peaked at number 69 in the Beatport Bass House Top 100, although we're not in there anymore, or maybe at spot 90 or so. Everything can help, so if you want to help, Beatport link is also down below. And on the side, I also wanted to tell you guys, next week, Wednesday, if you're watching this later, it will already be out, but I'm releasing a new track on Data Transmission's label, which is called Dream Affair. So it's coming out this Wednesday. Pretty excited for this one. I got some pretty nice downloads already on the in-flight promo. Joris Vorn is also on there, so curious to see if there will come some live played videos on there as the James Hype videos. So yeah, I'll also leave a link down below to get the track or buy the track or free download the track. I don't know yet, but yeah, thank you for watching this video. I really hope you learned something, because I'm a really messy producer, I know, but maybe looking into the project together with me helped you in some way. So yeah, thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to see more of these videos, and I'll see you guys next time.